Hello out there. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. This is going to be another album reaction. I'm going to be turning them out pretty quick here because I have some time off work, so I got a lot of time to do these that I don't usually have, and I got through a lot of subscriber requests that I needed to get out of the way, and now we're going to do some albums that I think you guys are going to enjoy. I hope that I'm going to enjoy them. I haven't listened to any of these albums, obviously. This is a reaction channel. But yeah, these next few are going to be some hand-picked albums. Yesterday was a hand-picked album as well, so yeah, I think sometimes, how do I want to say, I want to put this as delicately as I can. I think that, you know, subscriber requests are requests that I want to honor, but at the same time, I've got a lot of people just making random requests in the comment section, and sometimes they can get a little bit down one track, or it seems like, you know, the requests aren't very, at least from certain people, the requests aren't as diverse maybe as they could be. You do a couple requests from somebody, and then you find out, you're like, oh wow, this person seems to be really into this one thing. And you don't want that to overtake your channel. You want your channel to be diverse. So, guys, if you're making requests, first of all, don't get offended if I don't upload it to the channel. Don't worry about it if I've already heard it. You know, you can keep making requests, but I would just, again, I would encourage you to make requests that are, you know, from all different corners of the metal universe. Don't just get stuck in one little corner and keep making requests from that area or that corner, because I'm not going to honor a bunch of requests from one scene or even from one country if I can avoid it. I mean, that's going to be hard to avoid, but yeah, just try to keep the requests varied and interesting, because it makes my job easier. You know, I don't want to have to review, or I don't want to have to react to 10 blackened doom bands in a row. You know, I don't want to have to react to 7, you know, Japanese visual kei bands in a row. I don't want to have to listen to 12 alternative metal bands in a row. I want to keep it all, I want to keep it varied, keep it diverse, keep it interesting, because, you know, I'm going to be doing this long term, hopefully. And in order to be able to do that, I've got to keep it fresh. You got to find ways to keep myself from getting burnt out. So, but that's really it. We're gonna check out today one of my favorite bands, newer bands, one of my favorite doom bands from the last few years. Their name is Khemmis, and I've actually seen them in concert with Enslaved back in February. They were amazing live. This is their new album. It's called Desolation. It came out not too long ago. I want to say maybe a month ago or something. And yeah, these guys haven't let me down. I really enjoyed their 2016 release. I think it was called The Hunted, or it's just called Hunted. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And yeah, they're in the same vein as bands like Pallbearer, Ancients, Elder. And I'm not as big a fan as Elder, but I like Ancients, and obviously Pallbearer. You guys saw me present that album on one of my last videos. So yeah, I like this style. I like doom metal. You guys have probably noticed that on this channel there's been a lot of doom uploads, and that hasn't been intentional, but it just seems to be finding a way on the channel. So yeah, we're gonna check this band out, or check out this album. I already know I'm already familiar with this band. I did hear, I think I heard the teaser, one of the teaser tracks to this album. I believe it was the song Bloodletting. I'm pretty sure I watched the video for that already. But other than that, I'm not familiar with any of this material, so I'm excited. This album looks like it's 6 songs. It's about 41 minutes. Each song, they tend to run about 6.5, 7 minutes long. So these are going to be a little bit longer songs. We're going to see what these guys have to offer. I believe this is their 3rd studio album. I could be wrong, but it's their 3rd album, at least that I'm familiar with, that I've seen. So great potential with this band. Let's hope that they can keep up their momentum that they've gained from their past couple of releases. And yeah, we're going to just jump right into it. Again, I've heard Bloodletting. This is the first track, Bloodletting. It's 6 minutes and 24 seconds. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this thing. I love this section we're in the middle of right here. I don't know why I like it. I just think that, like, for me, one of the bands that were in the doom / gothic genre that I got really into when I was young, that kind of set the table for me as far as what I liked in that genre, was the band My Dying Bride. For some reason, I don't go around comparing other bands to My Dying Bride. It's not like My Dying Bride created this absolute criteria for what good doom metal is or should sound like or anything like that, but it's just that, you know, anytime I hear something that kind of reminds me of that band, I get excited for some reason, because I think, you know, when I was a teenager and I was listening to that band, it really made a big impression on me, and like I said, it kind of set the table for what I would kind of grow to appreciate when I got older. So this, oddly enough, man, I know this music isn't meant to be melancholic and sad, but some of these guitar melodies sound super weepy to me. I don't know what it is, but it's just they've got this kind of syrupy kind of just sound or distortion. I don't know what you would call it, but I really enjoyed too the distortion on the guitar when they play those heavy chords. It just seems like there's so much static there, you know. It's so noisy, it's so much static, it's so just thick, and there's so much texture there. It's almost like running your palm against some tree bark or something. And there's just that rough edginess there. You know, you guys get what I'm saying. It's just that coarseness, that roughness. That's what I hear when I hear those big chords coming down. And I think his voice actually sounds decent. I don't know what it is about it, though. It's not really hitting me the same way that it did on Hunted. But we're going to go ahead and let the rest of this song play out, so. I loved the way that song kind of evolved and changed. The guitar work on the second half of that song, I'm really glad that he chose to make it a little bit more intricate, shred a little bit. There's a proper solo in there, and that kind of evolved into this cool melody that kicked in right around the 5-minute, 45-second mark. That kind of carried the song out. This guitar player for this band, I don't know if you guys have picked this up yet, but this guy is actually really, really good, man. I think he was wearing like a Neurosis jacket whenever I saw him live, and he was at the merch table. I went up and I asked him, I was like, so what's your favorite Neurosis album? And he was just like, he's like, it changes every day, man. He wouldn't really give me a straight answer, but I was so impressed, like I had to go talk to him, because during the show, man, his fingers on his left hand were moving all over the fretboard, and he was actually, like, during several of the songs, he was shredding pretty much, and I didn't realize, like, listening to the album, I didn't really pick that up as much, but the guy can really play, and I think they really did a good job on the second half of this song, letting him breathe a little bit, letting him get out there and flash some of his chops, because it just makes the music that much better. It makes it that much more interesting. There's a lot of doom bands, they don't really have a lot of intricate guitar work from what I've heard and what I've noticed. And yeah, really cool to hear that. I loved the way they brought in the harsh vocals near the end of that song, like the last 20 seconds. Great, great way to end a song, man. And his vocals actually grew on me in the second half of that song as well. I think what it was is I'm so used to hearing him kind of sing up here, sing like, you know, pretty high, and he's got this real clean delivery, and it sounds so great matched with that heavy distortion. And then I think in this song, for a lot of the song, he was trying to sing a lot lower and a little bit of a lower registry, which sounded all right, but I really like it when he's got those soaring high cleans, you know, because he doesn't have a cheesy, poppy, you know, candy cane kind of voice. He's got a very, it's very masculine, but at the same time, it's also clean and melodic, and he can sing pretty high. So that song definitely won me over. I thought that was a great start to the album, and now that I've gotten a chance to listen to it without the video, I think I like it that much better. So I think this is the one they had the video for. I could be wrong, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on to the second song here. This is called Isolation. It is 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Now that I think about it, it had to be this song, man. The one that I saw. This one sounds pretty familiar. It had to have been this one. This one's the shortest song on the album, and it's also maybe the catchiest that I've heard. You know, the riffs and the melodies, man, they're worked into the music so well. His voice sounds excellent, and again, the guy can fucking shred. All right. I've already brought that up, but here it is again showing up on this song. This song is a definite winner, man. This is a home run right here. So I could see them catching a lot of people who are on the fence or people who don't know about them. I could see them really hooking a lot of those people in with this song, because this song is just so accessible. It's ready, you know, it's ready for distribution. It's a fun song, you know. They managed to make doom metal fun. I think a lot of people too, I'm going to quit talking here in a second, but I think that a lot of people too, you know, I've seen the charge levied against this album saying, oh, this isn't really Khemmis' bread and butter. This is more in the style of traditional heavy metal. This isn't like doom, but man, if they've got the ability to play, they sound like they have the ability to play a lot of different styles and play whatever they want. I think they're executing it really well. I think it sounds good, man. I don't know how you could gripe and say that this isn't as good as what came out on Hunted, or I can't remember their other album's name, but I don't think you could gripe and say it doesn't sound as good as the stuff that came out on their prior albums, because it does, man. This is like, to me, this is just as good as anything that they've done. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of the song play out. How they write these songs. Like a lot of bands, I feel like the vocals are the last thing that gets written. Like they have the song already done as far as the guitars, drums, bass, all that's already taken care of. The song is written basically. There's no vocal track yet, and then the vocalist will come in, listen to the song, and then, you know, he'll think up a melody, or just the way he feels, the way the song makes him feel, he'll kind of just flow with that and go in and create something, and they'll put that on last. But it's just, you know, with this song in particular, I just wanted to say that the vocals and the guitars and the flow of the music, the drums, everything seemed to be matched up perfectly, man. Whenever I'll show you what I'm talking about, like this moment right here. One of the heaviest parts in the song, that's sort of like the peak of the song as far as emotionally, and then the guy reaches, you know, he hits that high note, and then after that, you know, the music kind of climaxes and then comes back down and goes into this kind of slower, doomier section. It just seemed like I was saying before, like all of the vocals and the drums and guitars, they all seem like they're matching one another. They're playing the same thing. They're matching the same rhythm. The thing that made this song for me, actually, I wanted to go back and draw some attention to this as well, because they did this a couple times. It's kind of like a real smooth, kind of sudden change in the tempo and the groove and what's happening, and it sounds badass. And when they just kind of, they're going at a certain pace, and then they just kind of drop into this brand new section, and it just sounds, the way they pulled off that transition, man, just sounds so cool. So yeah, this is what we're working with right now. There's nothing wrong with that song, man. I can't even come up with a complaint about that song. That is definitely a hit, man. That's a single. I think this song must have been the video that I watched instead of, I thought it was Bloodletting, but it had to have been this because I did recognize some of those chord progressions in there. It sounded a little bit familiar, so that was excellent. I'm going to go ahead and move on to track 3. This is called Flesh to Nothing, and it is 7 minutes and 31 seconds. This section right here with him singing like that actually sounds great, man. I don't know how, but it seems like he pulled off the kind of the low vocals. I don't know if he's getting some help from the studio or if he's got another vocal track in there kind of layered on top of his, but it just sounds a lot better than on the first track, Bloodletting, where he was singing in a similar, hitting all these lower notes. I don't know, it sounds really good here. And then this song, man, what can you say about this? This is so good, man. This is like, it sounds just like a band that's discovered their sound. that knows what they're doing. They're not trying to fill space in the track. They're not trying to come up with the next riff, like desperately trying to come up with the next riff to keep the listener entertained. It sounds like a group of seasoned veteran musicians just having a good time, man, jamming out and just creating some badass tunes along the way. And the thing about it is these guys aren't that old, man. I think they're all in their 20s still. I could be wrong. They could be a little older than that, but they're young guys, and they've already got that veteran kind of mystique and charm when it comes to the way they write songs, man. I don't have to really kind of analyze this really hard. I can just kind of sit back, relax, and let the music, you know, let the music kind of just take me away, man. So what can you say about this? This is really, really good right here. I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of it finish out.
No one answers over the day, deny the die. Deep inside, a spark remains, growing stronger. Let the blaze consume the fire.
That was one of the best songs I've heard them pull off, man. There wasn't a dull moment in that song. The guitar playing was unbelievable, man. They gave the guitarist a spotlight to kind of solo a little bit. Just the constant melodic movement, man, and the different riffs and constantly bombarding you with new ideas. It seems like a lot of prog bands attempt to do that, and they're constantly introducing new instruments, and they've got, you know, all these weird transitions and just strange ideas. They're constantly, like Dream Theater is a great example. You know, it seems like the music's changing every 5 seconds. and they're constantly trying to, you know, blow your mind over and over and over again. But this is accomplishing a little bit of the same thing, but without all of the proggy pomp and circumstance. This is just, it's pretty straightforward when you look at just the sounds that are on here, with the constant tempo changes and the different riffs and the way they'll play those heavy chords, and then the melody, the melodic section, the riffs come in. They had a section in here that was like an honest to God. I don't know what this is, man, if this is like borrowed a little bit from black metal or what's going on with this. Right here. That was amazing, dude. I loved that section. I can't believe that's on here. I just think, like, why are people upset about what this band's genre or style is? Just let them play music, man. Just enjoy this band. Don't worry about if this is as doomy as their other releases or if it sounds too much like traditional heavy metal, and don't let something like that prevent you from really enjoying the music to the fullest, because these songs are amazing, man. These are just great songs. Like, they're obviously talented. Obviously, you know, in this genre, there's not a lot of bands to me that are as interesting as Khemmis. And a lot of you probably like Elder. I know a lot of people like Pallbearer, including myself. Ancients is pretty good, but dude, I mean, this is, to me, this is as good as it gets. When you talk about like modern doom, they're right up there, man, with the elites, and they're so young, man. It's just, I can't believe they're so early in their discography, man. Can you imagine if they end up churning out like 10 albums? Like, there's going to be so many songs. They're carrying the torch, man. They're one of the torch bearers. So, yeah, that song, I thought Flesh to Nothing was one of the best songs they've ever come up with. That was so fun, so interesting. Yeah, that was a pleasure to hear for the first time. I'll definitely be listening to that a lot more. So, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the fourth track. This is called The Seer, and it is 6 minutes and 2 seconds. God, dude, it's so incredible. Damn. Oh shit!
When the night falls and the fog grows, seek the shelter of these blackened wings. Flee the sunrise.
How dare I interrupt this song, man? There's no way. Like, if you don't like this song, man, then you must not be a fan of, like, traditional heavy, of, like, the core or the heart of heavy metal, man. Like I said during the Candlemass vid, I said, man, this sounds like some shit from the hallowed halls of metal. This song gives me that same vibe. This is just, like, pure excellence, man. When you talk about, like, metal, everything that metal stands for, the tradition, the 70s stuff, just the roots, you know, where it comes from, 70s and the 80s, all that stuff, the Dios, you know, the Black Sabbaths, the, you know, the Judas Priests, the Iron Maidens, like these are the founding fathers, you know. You talk about the kind of influence they had and just how many musicians they inspired and what they stand for and what they represent. It's like, to me, this song captures and embodies that example and that essence, man. It's here. These vocals, the vocals on this song are so fucking good, man. They're transcendently good. They're so metal. There's something like very, like, I don't see, like, a lot of people who are in the extreme metal community, they kind of look down on clean vocals sometimes. They say it can make a song sound too poppy if they're not done right. These are done right, man. These are going to appeal to a lot of people who don't like the poppier stuff, who don't like a bunch of clean singing in their music. Like, these clean vocals, man, how could you fucking argue with these? These are unreal, man. So incredible. I don't even know what to say about this song. This is one of the best songs I've heard this year, man. Like, I don't think that, you know, I've heard very many songs this year. I mean, if you guys want my honest opinion about this year as far as certain songs I've heard that have been real standouts for me, you're looking at Slave Goo World by Slug J would be up there. Child of Light by Altars of Grief would be up there. Both Grain of Sand and Amongst Stars by Amorphous. Maybe Pyres on the Coast, too. I don't know. Those would be up there. When you're talking about, like, the best of the best, man, this is, like, it's so rewarding when you run a small YouTube channel like this. You listen to albums in their entirety. You don't come across songs that are this amazing that often, man. This is just raw power, man, is what this is. So I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of it play out. I'm going to stop gushing about it. Heavy, man. Yeah, like I've said, you guys aren't going to see me flip out about a song that often. It just doesn't happen that often. Man, even the song, all the albums that I upload on this channel, you know, I listen to so many albums, I film, you know, whatever, and then if I film something I like, then I'll go ahead and proceed to edit and upload it. So all the albums I upload are albums that I think are good, and I like the songs, most of the songs. But still, even though that's the case, and most of those albums are good and most of those songs are good, you're still not going to see me flip out about a song. There's no way that I could say that that song is anything less than one of their best, if not their best. It's certainly my favorite on this album, but I'm thinking back to their other albums, and I think this might be one of the best songs I've heard from them, you know, period. I'm kind of blown away by that thing, dude. I don't know what to say about it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was insane. So if we want to be real, guys, like, this album has got to be album of the year contender, assuming they don't completely fuck up these last two songs, and I don't see how they could possibly do that. But Bloodletting was pretty good. Isolation was insanely catchy, excellent. Flesh to Nothing, I thought, was one of the best songs that I'd ever heard from them. And then The Seer is just like a whole nother level. So everything I've heard on this album so far has been good. Yeah, you guys, all you guys that have been dragging on this release because it doesn't sound enough like their earlier stuff, man, get out of here with that. Put that down. You know, forget about that and just listen to this. Listen to this with fresh ears. You know, don't get too heavy into the expectation game and the comparing it to their other releases and stuff like that. It's like, just, you know, just immerse yourself in this right here, and I guarantee you're gonna like it, man. You just don't try to pigeonhole this band and say, oh, they've got to sound this certain way. Because that's BS, man. They're not accountable to, you know, music critics and reviewers online who think that, you know, we've got a handle on Khemmis. They're a doom metal band. That's who they are. That's who they're gonna be. And if they change it up, we're gonna make a big stink about it. It's like, who cares, man? Just, if it's good, it's good. Just like it. Yeah, man, I don't get a lot of that criticism or that hate. So, and there's probably not a lot of it out there because there can't be a lot of people there can't be a lot of people hating on this album, man. There's no way, dude. I don't. It's like when I found out last night, one of my good friends, she doesn't like barbecue. So I didn't know that there were people out there that existed that were like that. Doesn't like barbecue sauce, doesn't like the whole thing. So yeah, occasionally you probably run into people like that, but this is like metal barbecued pork ribs right here, man. Like, how could you not like this shit? We are going to move on to the 5th track. This is called Maw of Time, and it is 7 minutes and 23 seconds.
Fire
Every time they bring in those harsh vocals, I'm always like surprised. I don't know why, but I never expect those on Khemmis' songs, and then they always surprise me with them. It just seems like they've kind of carved out this niche or this sound, and like the clean vocals work so well. It's so consistent throughout the music that you know, every time those growls come in, I'm always like, holy shit. Still kind of reminding you that this is an extreme metal album or an extreme metal band. Like they're willing to do the, you know, the death growls. So that's really cool. This song is badass. It doesn't really, there's nothing about it so far that's kind of making it stick out from the rest of these tracks. It's still a good song because it's Khemmis, you know? Because they're playing at such a high level that everything they put out seems like reaches a certain standard of quality, even if this song doesn't seem to have that sort of unique, special thing about it that sort of sets it apart from the rest of the tracks in this listing. You know, of course, the guitars are great, the drumming is interesting, the guy's voice sounds good, the music's flowing, we're moving from one idea to the next very seamlessly. Yeah, it's just a joy to listen to. It's just, this is reaching the point of, like, if I was just, you know, walking around my house doing whatever and I didn't want to have to worry about the music I was listening to, I just wanted something good that was going to keep me occupied while I was cleaning or, you know, I don't know, vacuuming or doing the dishes or whatever, I would definitely put this on because, you know, every single song is quality. I don't have to worry about duds in the track listing. Oh, I got to skip that track. I'm not skipping any of these tracks. And I don't care, again, I don't care how doomy it is or it isn't. This is good music. So I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of this track play out. I thought they were going to end that with like 2 minutes left. I was like, it's the end of the song and there's still 2 minutes. What the fuck? Who knows, you know, why they chose to do that. I thought it was cool. It's definitely a little disorienting because when all of the music kind of crashes together all at once and you have that final, you know, everything kind of comes together and goes, you know, you're used to the song ending. That one kind of meandered there for another 2 minutes. Not really meander, but it kind of dragged on there for a little bit, 2 minutes at the end there. The thing that stuck out to me the most, especially during that section, was just that drum pattern, man. That drum pattern was so cool. Sounded so epic. I'm going to play some of it so you guys know what I'm talking about here. So cool, man. So cool. It sounds like we're marching off to war, doesn't it? When he plays that. I really love that. I just, you know, what to say? Like I said before, this song didn't really, for me, stick out as much as the other ones, at least in the track listing. It seemed like up until now, every single song was like its own unique experience. And it was kind of, you know, each song grabbed me for different reasons, and I had a clear memory of each song, all the way from the first to the fourth track. Bloodletting, maybe not so much, but that was a good opener nonetheless. But definitely the middle three that I talked about, Isolation, Flesh to Nothing, and The Seer, to me, each one of those carried their own character, like perfume or whatever. It sounded very unique, each one of those songs. This one was cool, but this sounded more like just them jamming, and them jamming out. Like, they're a very good band, and so even if they churn out a track like that, that's more just like, you know, for them would be maybe an average or above average track, it's still going to be better than 90% of the shit that you hear in this genre, because it's them, you know, they're at the top of their game right now. So yeah, I thought that was good too. Definitely won't be skipping that track, but probably not going to be one of the ones I single out from this album as like, that's one of my favorites, you know. So, but it is what it is. Other people may really like that song. So, but we're going to move on to the 6th track. This is called From Ruin. It's 9 minutes and 27 seconds. It is the closer on the album, so I can't believe we're already to the end. This is a relatively short album. It's only about 41 minutes. And yeah, I'm excited for this thing. I'm excited to see what they have in store. It's a longer song. Maybe it'll be like Beyond the Door, and it'll have this really devastating riff at the end that just leaves you like, holy shit, you know, what was that? But who knows? We're going to go ahead and jump right into this thing. pretty interesting. Okay, so they're going with this acoustic, clean kind of section here with the guys singing. I don't know if I've heard that before from them, but maybe my memory is just bad. Maybe my memory is shoddy. They've got songs where they've done that before and I just don't remember them. But yeah, that's can be kind of a risky thing, okay? Because when you don't have all of that distortion, you don't have all of that noise on the track, and then everything's stripped down and the guy's just singing. If the guy can't carry his own weight as a vocalist or as a singer, you know, then all of his imperfections, all of everything about him that could use a little bit of work or tweaking or whatever, they're going to get magnified, and they're going to get, you know, there's going to be a hyper focus on those because he's the primary sound that's being delivered on the track. So, I mean, you guys saw me react to Fear Factory Obsolete from 1998, I believe it was. The final track on that album, Timelessness, was a kind of a ballad. It was very stripped back, and the guy was just kind of singing without any of the heavy distortion behind him. And you started to see some of the flaws in his vocals come through on that track because it was just, you know, like I said, it was just a hyper focus on what he was doing. So I actually think this guy is doing just fine. I think he's a great singer. So I don't think he'll have any problem with a section like this. But yeah, it's just interesting to see how maybe this would go over with some fans of this band, if they would enjoy this or if they would say that it was kind of cheesy, or what they might think of this. I think it's neat. You know, it's cool to see Khemmis experimenting and going in different directions. So, but we're going to play it until the 6-minute mark.
And when I close my eyes, I swear I smell the smoke. I used to know before the fall, and now
Dude, this is so awesome, man. I don't know what happened here, but it's okay. I don't want to open my mouth and then you guys have a meltdown because I said something incorrect here. I'm just trying to place what this makes me think of and where I feel like I felt vibes like this before. But if you guys listen to this real quick. I don't know why it sounds a little bit gothic to me, man. Maybe it's that guitar mode that one guy was talking about. I can't remember which one it was, but during the Candlemass vid, I was remarking the riffs sounded really dark and etc., kind of ancient. And he was like, "Oh, it's because the riffs are all being played in this certain guitar mode." Maybe that's what's going on here. I'm not that advanced of a guitar player. Like I played for a few years, and I never really got heavy into the different modes and, you know, really learning my music theory like I should have. I was kind of just, you know, fooling around with it for a few years and then kind of set it down. But yeah, that sounded pretty dark and gothic to me. I don't know why or how they accomplished that sound per se. And you guys may, in the comment section, you may be like, well, gothic, that is way off. You know, that doesn't sound anything like that. You know, I'm just kind of speaking my mind here. I'm not really, again, this isn't like a official album review. This is just somebody spitballing, you know, just giving their thoughts on the fly here, first reaction. That's just what it made me feel. So, but we're almost down to the end here. We've got about 3.5 minutes left, and we're going to go ahead and finish the rest of this track out. They're the ultimate jam band. If this band just improvised, you know, if I got to like see them in the studio and see them, you know, working out these songs, laying down these tracks, and if they just got in a garage somewhere and frickin' improvised for 20 minutes, man, I think that I would love it. I would probably like lose my mind. I'd be like, man, you guys are so great, man. This is like, if I could see a band like this at a small venue, you know, or maybe outside at like a barbecue or a bar mitzvah, man, like that would be that would be something I could take with me to my grave. Like, oh man, I saw Khemmis and there were only like 10 people there. You know, I don't know, man. This band is so underrated. Honestly, like, they are one of the better younger bands working today, man. They're so on top of everything. Everything's on point. The vocals, drums, guitar, the songwriting. It's so fun to just like listen to this music and just rock out, man. Just jam out, fucking headbang, and again, the music is being taken care of so well that you don't have to think that hard about it. You don't have to think about, oh man, like, I don't know about their choice there. I don't know about like that transition. Everything is already handled. I think if I was, and I've said this before, I think if I was a band like Mastodon, I would take bands like Khemmis on the road with me. Not only because Khemmis' quality and good enough to play with a band like Mastodon, but because Khemmis, they deserve that kind of promotion, man. They deserve to be bigger than they are. And I think that a lot of the more mainstream metalheads, the guys and girls that get off on bands like, you know, Mastodon, Ghost, Gojira, a lot of the people that aren't really into the more niche genres like doom, black metal, death metal, etc., I think a lot of those people are going to be shut out from this band just because of the way it's labeled. But I think if a lot of them would listen to this music, they would like it. Because this stuff is undeniable, man. You can't argue with this. This is, by far, I think this is better than Hunted. I think that, and Hunted won Revolver Magazine's Album of the Year for 2016, so, and Hunted was a great album. I think this is better than that album. I think somehow they just managed to keep topping themselves over and over and over and over again, and they've got a very promising career ahead of them, so hopefully they'll all stay safe, they'll stay healthy, and hopefully they won't have any weird drama going on within the band, between the band members that could potentially sabotage things. And hopefully they'll continue to work with this sound and evolve this sound and play with this sound. And because they've got it, man. As far as the underground metal scene, I can't think of very many bands that I would rather listen to than these guys. But anyway, this album, basically everything was my favorite, except for Maw of Time was kind of hit or miss for me. But everything was my favorite pretty much on this. Maybe Flesh to Nothing and The Seer may be the top two. But honestly, man, this is the type of album that's so good that you just, it's like that Amorphous album that I reacted to on this channel. You know, it's one of those albums that you'll just want to put on and literally just let play all the way through over and over and over again, because everything on it is good. There's no real weak points, weak spots. Khemmis, I hope you guys are not watching me right now, not listening to me, because I'm not giving you any constructive criticism at all. And that's not healthy, you know, especially for a young band. Young bands need constructive criticism, but I can't think of anything, man. This is just, yeah, so this is basically just a big love fest right now, big gush fest. But anyway, yeah, I would give this thing a very, very high rating. It's not a perfect album, in my opinion, but it's damn close, though. It's really good. So yeah, that was it, guys. That's it for the video. If you dug the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe below. All right, let me know what you guys would like to see me react to in the future. Please, subscribers only. I only want to entertain subscriber requests. on this channel. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future. I hope you guys are all having a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is Metal Album Reactions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.